Well, all right, y'all. So let's jump straight into it. So welcome. If you're a returning audience member, welcome back, and we appreciate the love and the vibes that you're kicking out. So yeah, but welcome back to, or if it's your first time, welcome. I don't know why. Whatever. Anyway, uh, welcome to It's Pudding's Tea, and I'm your host, the wonderful, magnificent Pudding, of course. Man, give myself some words today. Uh, and with me, y'all already know what time it is. Y'all know who I got with me. Y'all should know by now. Y'all know who I got with me. Y'all know who I got with me. Do y'all know who I got with me? The noble, the wholesome, the supreme, Mr. Curry. Y'all give it up for Mr. Curry, y'all. Y'all give it up for Mr.
Dun,
Curry.
dun, dun, dun.
You wait till I give
Dun,
me some
dun,
side
dun,
effects.
dun.
You wait till I learn how to do that. You wait. You
Oh,
wait.
I can't wait. I swear I can't wait.
All right, y'all. So today, we're at what? We're in season 4, episode. This is 5. It's 5. It's 5, y'all. Episode 5. Uh, so yeah. Today we're gonna cover education, you guys. Education. We got. I think. I think a lot of us feel the same way when it comes down to education. For the most part, at least. Well, we're gonna weigh the pros and cons. All right.
It's been a long time coming. We gotta get through this.
But I don't think I hear it enough. So here's for those who agree with me that we don't say this enough out loud. That it's a joke. Okay. Now I'm jump straight to it just like that. I'm jump straight into it.
Let's just get straight to it.
Yeah, let's get straight to it. It's a joke. Education is a joke. Like, not saying that it it's not, like, it depends. Like, I would say the most time I enjoyed learning was when I attended college. Right? And it's
Oh
a
yeah.
whole different ball game, and it's actually as if you're learning something. Like, you're actually learning something. And I guess it's because you have a particular goal that you're trying to get to. Like, I love to write. I'm a writer. I'm an author. So the English portion of it, I learned a lot in my English class that, I end up putting into that particular talent that I have. So I'm not saying that it's worthless. I'm not saying that it's a waste of time, because learning isn't a waste of time. Learning is not a joke. There's a difference, though. There's a difference, because technically, right now, we're mainly talking about public education. I mean, I can't really speak on anything else because I never went to like a charter school or private school or anything like that.
Me neither.
So I can't tell you like what, oh, like, this is better. I have nothing else to compare it to. I just only can tell you about my public school experience, and I feel like that system is a joke. Like, real talk, it's a joke. Like, so you trying to tell me that I really need this when anyone who grew up a little faster than they were supposed to, you automatically have that feeling like you're wasting your time when every time you go there, because it's like, bro, it's not the real world when you're there.
It's not. And
It's
this
not
is
the real
coming from
world.
some. I went to college to be a high school English teacher.
Oh, wow! I
This is
didn't
why.
know that.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh,
This
it's
is why
about
this is
to.
so big to me. Oh yeah.
Oh, this about
We
to be
gonna dig
good.
all the way into this. I went to college to be a high school English teacher, and before going to college, I was in a program. Don't get me wrong, this program is great. I love all y'all for everything that y'all have done for me in my life. I was in this program called Upward Bound,
Mm-hmm.
and this program is designated for the sole purpose of getting young African Americans into the college system.
Okay.
So while you're in the program, you're taking college level courses during the summer. You're staying on a college, like you live on a college campus during your summer. Like
Oh.
I lived in a dorm while I was in, like during my junior and senior year in high school. I lived in a college dorm during the summer. I had a roommate. We stayed on USC campus. It was everything. We took college level courses. We went to different colleges to, view the colleges and, do the college tours. They paid for our application fees, everything, the whole 9 yards. The
Mm-hmm.
SAT, ACT, they paid for all of that.
Oh my god. They
Oh
still do
yeah,
that? They still do
I
that?
believe. Yeah, they still do that.
That is dope. That's real dope.
It's a program called the TRIO program.
Okay.
It is an amazing program. Don't get me wrong. It is an amazing program.
Right, right.
And for anyone still in high school who's listening to this, if your parents mention it about you joining the TRIO program to join Upper Bound, by all means, I personally say do it.
Right.
You're going to get the college level experience before any of your friends do. Now,
That's how that.
going to college
Mm-hmm.
was a different story.
I knew it was gonna
Now,
shift gears.
oh yeah, now don't get me wrong. I loved my college experience. It was everything that I thought it would be.
Mm-hmm.
I got to party when I wanted to party. I got into my academics when it was time to get into academics.
Right.
I had so many experiences, many that I can share on here, some that I very well will not. But
Well, to add to that, cause like when I went to school, college, I didn't have like that actual like campus college, experience as
hmm
far as attending the college I was visiting.
Right.
like I may have visited, attended a party or two, whatever the case may be, but not to the point where I actually had like dorm room roommate, like stuff like that.
Oh, it
Um,
gets real in the dorm rooms.
but a part of me wish I had, even still, even though I like of course when you know better,
hmm
you can go back and play with stuff the way you want to and do stuff the way you want to. Like I think I would have juiced the system. Knowing what I know now, if I had, say for example, I had to go back, right? I
hmm
would have chosen to have that college experience and I would have milked the system. I would have skipped a few grades probably. I would have milked it. I really would have, because I part of me wanted to, because like when you're there and you're visiting, it does look like fun.
Yeah,
It does look like fun.
and don't get me wrong, it is. It very much. It's a lot of fun. It's so much fun that you can completely forget that you're in college.
Oh my goodness. Listen, but it's like I don't do the whole group thing though. Like classrooms and uh which I'm kind of skipping ahead just a tad bit there. Um because I do have a list of like pros and cons, and that is one of the cons of it is that usually like you're in these classrooms with like 30 people. Like that's how I feel. It
Okay,
just
you know what?
feels.
I got an awesome idea. How about you go over the pros and cons? I'll give you the insight from someone who lived on campus, and you can give me
Oh,
the insight from someone who didn't live on campus.
oh, I like that. Okay.
I had a friend that didn't live on campus, and she said that her experience was very much different from mine, and we
Right.
went to the same college.
Right. And I want to hear about that too. Like just to say, college. Once you get to college, though, it is like things are different. It's like you have more of a, I don't know, like you have more of an established like presence. You know what I mean? Like it has a different degree or stature to it as opposed to everything that came before it. Because
You're right about
anything
that.
that comes before that, to me, like from my point of view, because I wasn't a B on the road type of kid. It's not that I wasn't able to do so. It's just that I didn't function well in public school. Like I didn't
hmm
function well in packed classroom. You know what I mean? Like it was very factory, very robotic to me. Like
Right.
it just seemed like it was just so part of a system, bro. Like it always felt that way to me. I never wanted to really go to school, like ever. I ever like
I
like
completely understand where you're coming from there.
I would have
And
been.
trust me, when we get into these points, I feel as though I'm going to validate your facts.
Got you. Okay. So we're going, yeah, that's okay. So I'm gonna start off with the cons.
Go
But
for it.
I'm gonna start off with the cons as far as public school, right? Um, well, no, you know what? I start off with the pros. I start off with the pros. Um, so the pros, like of going to public school or having, first of all, it's a lot of. I didn't have that on my list. I need to add that, but it's a lot of schools. It's a lot of public schools. Secondly, it's accessible.
Very true.
It's very accessible. Um,
I mean, it's more than accessible. Like
like
nowadays,
it's
like when it comes down to grade school, if you don't go to school, then your parents are going to jail.
listen, you get into big trouble. Like it was people that I knew when we were overseas, and it was like certain people had to homeschool. Cause education for like American children is different over there.
Right.
So a lot of people choose to homeschool, and I think if I'm not mistaken, for the most part, if you don't have your stuff together when you move back to the states or come back to the states and try to put your children in school, you gonna have a problem. You got to go to court, bro. Like it's
Yeah.
serious. It's that serious. I'm like, but how can you tell someone how to educate, when to educate, where to educate? Like to me, that's extremely controlling. It's very fear based. It's I think it's a bully tactic to make sure that you have your child what's the word, indoctrinated? Have your child into a certain particular system that you so choose. And I'm like, bro, that's odd to me. It's odd to make that a law to me. Like, don't get me wrong. You have some parents that don't take care of their children at all. Sometimes the only time their children eat is when they are in school, type of thing, type of
That is
situation.
true.
Um, and sometimes that's the safest place for them, and it's better for them to be gone for a few hours. You know what I mean? Type of situation.
Right.
Um, and the thing which is next on my list is that it's free. That's also a pro. It's because it's free. It's accessible. It's free, so it's easier. And they also, which leads to my next point, which is transportation, right?
Hmm.
So when you have all three of those things, it's accessible, you got transportation, and it's free. Then yeah,
So,
you
so
sending them
I
out
do,
there.
so I do have a couple of points to prove out in some of those aspects.
Hmm.
When it comes down to accessibility, I do believe, yes, it is accessible because I believe it's accessible because it is free. But when it comes down to the transportation of it, that could be a problem because, like, say for instance, within my last relationship, um, the youngest son could not ride the school bus to school because he was within 2 miles of the school.
What?
Yeah, this is in the state of Florida.
They wouldn't let.
He
Wait
could
a minute.
not ride the school bus to
I've n-
school because he was within 2 miles of the school.
that's stupid.
So we had to wake up and
Take
make
him to
sure that
school.
either take him to school or, well, first we started off taking him to school.
Hmm.
And then when we noticed that a lot of other kids in the neighborhood were riding their bikes and stuff,
Hmm.
then, we felt a little more comfortable seeing that there are other kids doing it. And
Right.
then seeing that, there were parents that were like walking the sidewalks, every morning
Just to make sure
to
that they.
right. Then we became like, okay, yeah, you're gonna take your bike and you're gonna ride your bike to school. But
What?
yeah, because he was within 2 miles of the school, he could not ride the school bus.
I don't think that's quite fair. Like I
That
feel
could
like it should be your choice. Like if you are that close and you choose for your child to do so, then okay. But I think that they should still be able to ride the bus
yeah.
unless they're across the street. Then come on, of course that's different. Like, but two
But
miles,
you telling me that the bus can't stop like right there to pick up a group of kids,
because 2 mile ain't close. 2 miles is not close. It's not
especially
that
when you're on
close.
foot.
Like what? Okay, so what about when it rains?
When it was raining, those kids were either being carpooled or they had their ponchos and hoodies on.
That's what I'm saying. They had to thug it out. Like
Yeah,
that's
they had to figure it out.
don't get me wrong. As as far as exercises, as far as exercise go, like I can see how that would be beneficial, right? It is healthy, but I still feel like it should be a choice though.
I
Like
agree.
I think it should be a choice, like because 2 miles is not, bro. That's not that close, bro. Like
When you, especially when you're walking and you don't have, you don't have long adult legs like myself. I'm 6 foot even,
right,
so you don't have long adult legs like you have, adolescent legs. You have kid legs.
but not just that. I feel like I should have more of a say, more of a choice. Like, what if I don't have a vehicle, right? And my child has to go to school. What if my child don't have a bike? Like, you know, it. And of course,
You're exactly right.
they're just gonna tell you it's a personal problem. But it's like, what if I don't feel comfortable? What if I have all those things? What if I just leave earlier or something like that? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Hmm.
you never know someone's situation, and the bus would just help, solve those things. But it's like, bro, on top of that, like I hate to say it, but it's the I don't want because I don't fear monger. Like I don't do that. I don't promote fear or anything like that.
Right.
But it is people out here that hurt children.
Yeah, and that is true. And that was my number one concern is the fact that there are people out here that hurt children.
2 miles is not child, please. You're not about to have. Listen, there's people that's not gonna do that. Like there's people that just not gonna do that. Like you, that's great. I didn't know that. I didn't know that places did that. Where if
Yep.
you were certain, because the only thing I knew as far as like any type of distance was concerned was that if you wasn't like zoned for that district or for that school or whatever the case may be, it's like your kid can't go there or something like that.
It blew my
Because
mind when we moved to that house and they said that he
y'all too
had to
close.
either be dropped. Yeah, we were too close for
Like
him
they
to take the
wasting
school bus.
gas or something. And it's like, and if it's other kids that you're, with, that means that all of them could be on the bus. So it's not a waste of a bus either. It's not one person. You know what I mean?
Exactly. All of these
Some
kids could be riding the bus, but none of them were.
bro, that's crazy. Like that's crazy. Cause I wouldn't want to have to like, bro. Oh my god. Cause people, not every job, can cater to your child's schedule and stuff. As a parent either,
Right.
and that could be a tad bit inconvenient. Like depending on the situation. Cause like well, I wouldn't, you know, advise anyone to have someone too young to get themselves on the bus, but at least you can do that. Like I know you can just walk right out your door and go get on the bus if I left for work already.
Exactly. I
That's a
like literally
that's a lot safer.
from the house that we were living in, I could walk right to the stop sign and be at a city bus. So I can walk right to the stop sign, which is like I can see the stop sign from my living room window
Hmm.
and be at the city bus. But we're too close. But 2 miles is too close for the school bus to stop and pick up children.
That's crazy. Like what happened just to the good old days where they got all the addresses together and they figured out the best route, how many buses they would need. Cause it's like, don't you
That's how
get
they did when we were in school.
you get money for this though? Like, don't sit here and act like, because they always love to act like they don't have enough. You get money. Like, don't the sit like, is it something I'm not aware of? Because that's possible. It's possible there's just something I'm not aware of. But I'm like, don't we
Oh,
etch out money for these type of things?
it is.
Don't
Trust
they
me.
tax us?
As somebody who was pushing forth towards trying to be an educator myself, so the money that every politician says that they're going to put towards education never shows up in education.
That's what I'm saying. We got a whole bro. We have a whole education lottery.
We have a whole educational lottery.
So what's really good? Like, bro. We shouldn't want for nothing when it comes to we. That's what I said. Listen, our children shouldn't be getting the education that they're getting. Because think about it though, if you really, really sit and think about it, it couldn't be the best because you can see the product. And that's no offense to nobody. I'm talking about us in general, just all of us. Period. For
Right.
generations, like you can kind of tell that the system has always been slacking. They only produce workers, bro. They don't produce business owners. They produce the workers, which is
And yeah,
quite
you're
peculiar.
exactly right.
Which is quite
They
peculiar, but
produce they produce workers and they produce militants.
yeah, for
Not to
sure.
say militant in a bad way. I don't want any of my vets or anybody who's in the armed forces to think that, I'm saying this in a bad way, but
Right.
our our educational system develops and produces, it's designed for children to come out as workers. And when we say workers, we're talking about people who are going to serve. We're like people who are going to go to Amazon, or who
Hmm.
are going to be in call centers, or people who are going to work these restaurants for us, or stuff like that.
Right.
Or they produce people who are going straight to the military.
They don't. They don't promote following your passions, like what you're passionate about. Because don't get me, it's nothing wrong with working. It's nothing wrong with working any type of position. Like I respect anyone's position. I don't care what you're doing,
Right,
what type of work you do.
right.
My thing is put people where they're good at, though. You know what I mean?
To be able to go to a school that's going to focus on
What you're good at.
what you're good at, you have to go to a private school.
That's crazy. But
And I can't speak much for private schools because I personally never have went to a private school,
right,
so
I've
I
heard
have no
great
knowledge of
things.
that.
I've heard great
Yeah, I've
things.
heard great things.
This is why all of us fell in love with Harry Potter because I bet you mostly it was public school kids because
Right,
because Harry Potter was a dream come true for somebody who didn't want to go to public school. Like I want to go to magic
right.
school, big dog. Like I'm trying to go to Hogwarts. That would be amazing. I ain't gonna lie. You know what my favorite part of Hogwarts was though, as far as all the school stuff they had. First of all, they separated the kids where they were best suited. That's first,
That they
and
did.
they honed their gifts, their natural gifts that they had. Hogwarts is actually supposed to be what they really supposed to be doing, like in normal life. If you really think
Hogwarts is a
about it,
private school.
yeah, of course, absolutely. Because look, invitation only,
Hogwarts is
invitation
a private school for the
only,
arts.
boy. But my favorite thing about Hogwarts was the buffet. Oh, that food looked good, bro.
It really did.
And it disappeared. Like who wouldn't want a plate? This okay, sorry y'all. But anyway, um, so I got a few more pros here though for us.
Okay.
Um, so another pro is that so I'm assuming private schools close or something, or any other school close if they go bankrupt. But they said that's one pro is what I found during my research is that public schools do not close even if they go bankrupt. I don't even know how that's possible for them to even do that. Bro, they tax us for all of these things. So there
That
is
is a
no
lie.
point. There's no point in us ever running out of anything because we technically share everything, whether we see it or not, whether we choose to participate or not. Inadvertently, we do. Everything goes around. Everything goes round, 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 round. It's the same thing. There is no such thing as not enough because we
So,
keep we keep circulating the same stuff. So how can you go bankrupt?
so I'm gonna start by saying that that is a lie. Public schools closed too, and I'm sorry, viewers. Yes, I am that educational man who went to school to be an educator myself, who's gonna be a Debbie Downer this whole episode.
Like, bro, so
I
they do
literally just saw
close.
a TikTok. Yes, they do. I literally just saw a TikTok this morning of a kid who recorded a bunch of other kids walking out of the school, and
Hmm.
the caption to it above it said, "When your school just got shut down,
I've
so now
never.
everybody has to go to another school." And the matter of fact, it said 1,200 kids have to go to another school.
Wow, I
So
never, bro. I've never
all
heard of that.
those kids showed up for school that morning to find out that their public school
Uh huh.
just got shut down, and that they had to go home so that their parents could get them signed up to go to another public school.
That's so stupid.
I just saw
How
that this
do you go
morning.
bankrupt? How do you run out of money? Like, I don't get that, bro. Like, I don't get that. We set aside things for these things. These things have been in place for so long. Like it shouldn't even be. It shouldn't be possible, to be honest. It shouldn't be
They run
for
out of
any
money
school,
because the money's not there.
right? Because they don't look. It's like
Teachers have been talking about this for ever now. Like,
that's why
like we always hear about the stories in which teachers have to pay for class,
for
like
supplies
for
and stuff like that.
supplies and for books and stuff like that for their kids to even be able to learn the things that they're trying to teach them.
That's crazy.
And that's just the tip of the iceberg.
So we can mark that one
When I
off. Like,
first got out of college, oh yeah, when I first got out of college, I went straight into teaching. I
right.
did 4 years. And then after those 4 years, the school that I was teaching at started to fall under. So
Oh
I had to
wow.
go and look for more work. Yeah, I had to go and I had to look for more, for other work. I ended up at Amazon. And as
Hmm.
I was working at Amazon, one of my, well, I guess you could say it was a college. We didn't work in the same school, we didn't work in the same district or anything like that. But another, teacher that I knew that graduated from a completely different college and everything, she went and got her master's in
Hmm.
education. And we were having a conversation one day, and she said, "You work at Amazon right now?" I was like, "Yeah." And she said, "If you don't mind me asking, how much do you make?" I told her how much I make. She said, "Would you believe that you make $1,000 a year, not a
I'm
month?"
sorry.
For all my math majors, not a month. You make $1,000 a year
Who?
less than what I make.
Oh, okay. I thought you about to say
I
that's
I
that's
was
still
working
bad
I
though.
was working at Amazon at that. I was working at Amazon. And once again, I'm not down on my Amazonians. I love y'all to death. Hey,
So just an extra $1,000. That's it. Only difference.
per year. I
That's
was
crazy.
making an she was making an extra $1,000 more than me per year.
With a master's.
And she had a master's in education.
So what was the man? What was the point? Like I wonder if she ever felt like what's the point?
Exactly. She did. She very much did. We had a whole conversation. We had a whole like 4 hour long conversation about this very same thing. Like the amount of student loans she racked up to get to get to that master's and everything. And I ended up leaving the educational field because I had to, not because I wanted to, because I had to. Went to Amazon, and I'm only making $1,000 less than her per year.
So you
You
pretty
can
much
go
was
into
making
Amazon. Yeah, you can go
like
into Amazon with a high school diploma.
right. So it's like, but you pretty much was making the same or more if you would have stayed in the education system as a teacher.
As her?
Just in general, like you made more at Amazon than you would have as a teacher.
No, I was making more as a teacher than I was as, working at Amazon.
Okay.
But she graduated from a college that was more distinguished than mine, way more
Hmm.
distinguished than mine.
Right.
She actually graduated from the college that I wanted to go to.
Ain't that some
Yeah, she graduated from the college that I wanted to go to. And I'll throw that out there. Go Tigers. I love my Clemson Tigers.
So it's like she pretty much
She
it's
got a
like
master's
she went all
degree.
the way, bro.
She
And
went
still,
all the way and got a
still.
master's degree from Clemson University, the college that I wanted to go to.
Right?
And when I left when I left and started working at Amazon, I was making $1,000 less than her per year.
That's crazy. See what I'm saying? Like it's ugh. Well, hold on. I'm trying to keep myself from talking trash till I get to the cons. Okay.
Oh, I'm gonna talk trash all the way.
Cause you got a right to.
The teachers are
You
already talking
dedicated.
trash.
Yeah.
Teachers have been talking trash for decades now. And we're gonna, and I say we because I still have this
You're still a teacher.
educational mindset. Yeah, in my mind, I'm still a teacher. So I'm gonna keep talking trash right along with them.
Well, when
Even
I
though I'm
have
not
children,
teaching right now,
when
I'm
I have
like,
children,
I still have the mindset of a teacher.
I'm sending them to Uncle Curry. Y'all go to Uncle. Yeah, cause you go. I got me a tutor for my kids. You should have told me that. You went.
If they
That
need
is.
help in English, I got them.
I love English though, bro. It was my favorite. But
Same.
okay, y'all going to the next one, the next pro. We only got two more pros until we get to these cons.
Ho ho
Uh,
ho ho.
but the next one is now this one I don't know if I disagree with this one honestly. But they say we're more diverse in public school. I tend to disagree with that though.
More diverse in public school?
Yeah, I don't see
That is a
that.
lie.
I don't see that like at
There
all.
is there is more diversity in public school than private school, but overall, you will still see that there
It's
are going to
about the
be like when you go to one particular public school versus another public school, like you'll see more so of this public school has more African Americans. This
right.
public school has more Caucasians.
Like
This
I
public
think
school has more Hispanics.
it may have a lot to do with just the school in general or just the area.
Yeah, it's more so the area, the
Yeah.
demographic of it.
Like so that's why I say that one I was like I don't really agree with that
Right,
one.
because and the demographic has a lot to do with how much people are getting paid, and
Right.
people, move to where they feel as though they can get paid more, more from. So, and not only do they move to where they feel as though they can get more, get paid more from, but they move to where they feel comfortable with. So, if you go to one city, like I won't put my whole life story out there just yet.
Right.
I'm still letting y'all. I'm
Yeah,
still
give them
letting y'all
bits and
learn me a
pieces.
little here and there. Yeah.
Give them little bits
But
and
if
pieces.
you go to one school district, you're gonna have more Hispanics because there's more Hispanic. There's more so of a Hispanic culture in that area. If you go to another district, you're gonna have more African Americans because there's more African Americans that just relatively live in the area. Why? Because they, in that particular area, African Americans feel as though they can make more, they got more of their people, yada, yada, yada,
Mm-hmm.
same as the
Right.
Hispanics. And the same goes for Caucasian as well. If you go to another public school, you're going to have more Caucasians because they feel as though they can thrive in the area. There's more there's more than likely more Caucasians in the area, and they feel as though their family can thrive in the area. So demographic plays a huge part in this.
That's why I say yeah, that one right there was kind of like there
Yeah,
for me.
they tried
And
it.
then they tried it. And then we had that's what I said, mind you, like if depending on which way you go, like I had to like I didn't dive like too deep into each one, but
Hmm.
like certain ones led me to other things, and I kind of was bouncing back and forth. Um, and it's like it's the overall experience for certain people. And I'm like, I don't know where y'all live at, but that ain't it. But yeah. So the next one, is supposed to be so yeah. So they said that there's special support. This well, I guess the support itself within itself that they provide in public school for children with special needs. So it's supposed to be pretty good. And I really can't speak on that. I really don't know. Like I can't say like I don't have like I said I don't have anything to compare it to.
When it comes
So
to special needs, all I can speak of is, and keep in mind, all my fellow educators who are listening to this, I've never taught within the special needs areas, but all I can speak of is to the stories that I've heard.
right.
And given the stories that I've heard, it's not what it is.
So that's also you disagree with that one too.
I disagree with that one too.
Cause I'm like I never was in a position to cause like I said the school I went to, well the school we went to, school we went to,
Right.
like like I didn't notice any foul play. Like I didn't notice anything that would probably be strange.
Right.
I never seen or heard. I never even heard anybody treating special needs children any type of way. Um, for the most part, we took up for like we ain't no one bothered the special needs in any school I went to. Like
Yeah, the school that we went to, like
No
I've
one bothered them.
never
Like we
heard
didn't
of
play
any
that.
be right, like we didn't play that at all.
Like we
I've
did not
heard
play that, bro.
I have heard stories within our district and
Right, that's different.
within the nearby district,
Yeah, that's a little different.
but
We
I've
can't
never
tell y'all
heard
what district
any.
we
Right,
in.
right. Yeah, we ain't giving you all that now.
We can't get y'all all
But
that. But
but I have heard stories within districts. But
mm,
at our school, no, we didn't play that.
yeah, we didn't
You
play
don't
it. I,
you don't mess with our special needs people. Like
we didn't.
we might
I
mob
think
on you.
that might be that southern. That might be that little bit of touch of southern hospitality that we got. Like, cause that's just
Yeah,
one thing we
probably.
just didn't
Yeah,
play with. Like, we would anybody come from anywhere talking about messing with. Yeah, we just didn't go for that. Like,
yeah. We
we
wasn't playing
band
that
together
at
real
all.
quick. Yeah, we nipped that in the butt real quick.
Really.
And listen, remind me after we finish today when we have our staff meeting. Remind me to tell you a story about that particular like subject.
Bet.
Like it was about somebody that went to school with us. I'm gonna tell you
Okay.
because you probably remember. You probably had
I
your own
probably do.
experiences too. You probably already know what I'm talking about. But just remind me
I was
to
probably
tell you
right
about it.
there.
Yeah, just remind me to bring that up when we do our staff meeting. But
Gotcha.
so that was all the pros that I had, and that was me trying to be fair. just trying to be fair because I can't say like I have a personal. Yes, I do. It's personal. It's most definitely personal. I have a personal issue with the school system, like because it dictates. Honestly, it does dictate how your life goes.
It does.
It really does. Like it really does. It's always felt like a science or like social experiment. To be honest, the way they used to like did you notice this right? And y'all comment if y'all notice the same thing too. Y'all comment below. Um, but have you or anyone else that's listening, have you noticed that in the school that you went to, that the what I would call the good behavior kids were like on one end of the hall and they all like had the same classes almost, and
Yep.
the bad kids was on one side and they all had almost the same classes. Did you
All you
notice
had to
like
do is
how they
all you had to do is act good, and you'll be in an AP class.
like, bro? Listen, like I used to have like mixed classes. Like I used to be like some of mine used to be kind of mixed, bro. But it's like no one wanted to really be on that other end of the hallway because it's like you can't really learn on that end. It's a
Yep.
lot of bullying going on. Um and it that first of all, me allowing and yes, I allowed it was because I had other things going on, like at home, other stuff that played a part in my little life, right? So like I said, being in school was just like in a little fake little bubble. I was like, this ain't even real. This is really, really false. It's like being at daycare, you might as well say, until you go
Yeah.
back home. Like then you step into the real world when you go home. So it's like I allow myself to be bullied because I was like, it's only for a short time. And I really don't care. Like I got enough stuff going on in my head. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, but the thing is, what I've noticed is that it bullying takes place just period more so like in public schools, I feel. And it's like if you put all these children that so called bad kids or misbehaved children, if you put all of them together, what do you really expect to happen though? Like how do you expect that to go exactly? Like because it's not really fair to me. And it's like there's no first of all, there's a complete absence of mental health when it comes down to school unless a teacher takes it upon themselves to notice certain things going on with you and they decide to say something or do something or whatever the case may be. Other than that, I just think that children are not really necessarily mentally and emotionally, they're not safe when they go to school. Maybe
No, I'm
physically,
with you there.
for the most part, maybe physically because, they got a little, they had a little security, nobody is really doing much, especially if you're not, in your lower levels like elementary school, stuff like that. But
Right.
I just feel like you just really out there on your own, and it's hard to have that type of environment, and because it's like you always in survival mode, and you be that kid that graduates and you step into the real world, and not much changes. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it kind of like school really plays a big part because it's listen, when you a kid, once you start going to school, pretty much it has more of an effect on you than your own household for the most part. Because you spend most of your life, most of your time
It does.
there. And all you want to do is get out.
You're exactly right. Like, especially for kids that are going through way harder things at home than they are in school.
And then to deal with stuff at school too. Like, bro, like
It's
you end
like
up
you expect me to
creating.
learn something? Like, what am I supposed to learn from you
Yeah.
that I can't learn from the streets?
It's
What am I
it's
supposed
rough.
what are you supposed to teach me that I'm not already learning or haven't already learned from the streets?
It's like a vicious cycle that goes on and on. And then you got this teacher that may or may not be trying their best. And that also affects you and plays a part. And look, the educators, they're running out of educators at this point. It's for dang sure a shortage out here. Like, cause you
Do you
remember
know how
teachers,
easy it is to become a teacher nowadays?
I can see examples. I can see examples. Like I see it's almost 50-50. Like on one end I see videos where it's touching and some of the kids and the teachers, like you have a teacher that changed a whole classroom of students and it ends up changing the school type of situation. I've seen videos like that. Then on the other side, I saw stuff just turning up and being just straight ratchet, and
Very
certain
true.
things that are inappropriate that shouldn't be happening, or they're fighting.
Right.
Like it's all over the place. Like
It's crazy.
like
Our
I
educational system, and for anybody who's listening outside the United States, keep in mind we're not more so referring to your educational system.
right because we don't have I
We
didn't
don't have
I
that
didn't research
experience. We
that.
don't have that knowledge. I
Right.
personally didn't research it myself, in which I am sorry for. I should have researched,
I should have. I didn't think about that.
educational systems within other countries as well. And hey, maybe that could be a topic for another day too. We can get into the
Right.
educational system of other places.
'Cause I can ask some of my friends that's overseas, like how, or that are from different places and things like that. Like, how does that work for y'all? Like, how did y'all go? Because that is interesting to consider that. Because we always, especially like it's always rumored that other countries have way better education systems than we do.
There are. I mean, we have a rank right here within the United States. When I was in school to be an educator myself, I quickly realized and watched for years on end that the state in which I wanted to be an educator in, out of all 50 states,
Oh, whoa!
keep in mind I said for
For years on end. No, sir. That, I did
I'm
not know that.
I was watching
I'm appalled.
I was watching the national rankings for educational systems within the whole United States,
Oh my
and for
gosh,
years
bro.
on end, the
We
state in
pretty much
which I
last.
wanted to, yeah, we are just about last.
We are last to be. That's you might as well be
Yeah,
last.
if I mean if
You
you're
might as well be
46,
last.
you might as well be number 50.
Bro, if you 50, that's like lean on me.
I'm telling you,
East
out of 50
side.
states,
Ah.
out of 50 states, the system in which I wanted to teach in was ranked number 46. They would give like they would give you more money. They would give you more money based upon certain criteria, such as if you are a male trying
Right.
to teach, you can get paid more than a female trying to teach. If you
Wow.
are, yeah, and this is no knowledge. If you are a male trying to teach, you can get paid more than a female trying to teach because there's a shortage of male teachers. If you are a male
Oh,
trying to
so
teach in a
it's more for the incentive to try to get you on board.
right, if you're trying to teach a critical needs subject such as English, math, social studies, something like that, you can get paid more than somebody who's trying to teach Spanish or who's trying to teach PE or something like that because it's a critically needs subject. If you are a teacher who are trying to teach in, let's say, quote unquote, the hood,
Mm-hmm.
you can get paid more than somebody who's trying to teach in
A
a
suburb or
suburb because you're teaching
wow.
in a critical needs area. So if you are like myself, a black man who is trying to teach a critical needs subject in a critical needs area, you can get paid way more than somebody than I can get paid more than a white woman.
Mm-hmm.
Keep in mind, like let's say me and this white woman graduated college at the same time from
Mm-hmm.
the same college with the same degree. I can get paid more than her because she wants to teach in, let's say, random city. She wants to teach in Orlando, Florida,
Mm-hmm.
and I want to teach in the Bronx.
Right.
We could be teaching the same subject, but I'll get paid
Mm.
more
Right.
because
Goodness
I'm a
gracious.
black. Because one, I'm black. Two, I'm a man. Three, I want to teach English, and she wants to teach, I don't know, say Spanish.
Right. What the? This is weird, bro. This is so weird. The
It's
system is weird.
like they recognize the fact that the educational system is so messed up. They
And
recognize
flawed.
it so much
They
that
know
they are willing to pay you more to
to deal
fix
with
it
it.
for them
Yeah. That
because they don't have the money to fix it for themselves. And the reason that they don't have the money to fix it for themselves is because they don't put enough emphasis on the educational system. And yes, I'm going to name drop a little bit because, yes, I am a former educator myself.
mm-hmm.
Joe Biden's wife is an educator herself. She's
Mm.
a white woman who, if I remember correctly, and this part I might be wrong on, but correct me if I'm wrong, she teaches elementary school English. And when Biden got into office, she wanted the educational system to be improved. So, in
Right.
order to please his wife, Biden said that part of Biden's campaign was that I'm going to do more for our educational system. And
Right.
it was a whole big thing that if Biden gets elected, that we're going to do a whole lot more for the educational system. We're going to put all this money towards the educational system. We're going
And
to
the
do all
student
this.
loans
Yeah,
forgiveness.
we're gonna take a yeah,
I was waiting on
exactly.
that
Yeah, you
kid.
heard about that, didn't you? You heard about
You
that.
know I heard
Everybody
it.
heard
I ain't
about
hear
that.
nothing else.
Teachers were supposed to get their student loans forgiven for being teachers alone. And what happened to it? The same thing that we just talked about in the last episode. No, we
Man.
didn't talk about it in the last episode. We talked about this one on one. I'm sorry. But the same thing that happened in the last thing that we talked about one on one, it disappeared.
It just like, and we're gonna also cover that,
Everybody
y'all.
just stopped talking about it.
We're gonna cover things that were very important, very hot, trending topics at that, and then we just forgot about it. We just blew it off, or we just on to the next. It's almost like we're addicted to just the next topic. Like
That
in it.
fast paced life. Just next, 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 next.
So you know what? Since you said that, good idea. So I'm gonna read these cons, and then I'm just gonna read all of them, and then we're gonna go in. We're gonna go in.
You got to
All
push
right.
me past some of these points because
No, I hear it in your
I'm
voice,
all
bro.
yeah I'm all Malcolm
But
X on this one.
it needs to be said though, because and
It
not
does.
just it's not just the dynamic of like coming from, oh, we both attended public school. You're an actual like educator yourself, so you
Right.
know what I mean. You're on a whole different side of things, and it's still the same results though. It's still the
It's
same
the
thing.
same thing.
Um, so we have here, y'all. Now look, it's a lot of comments. Okay, I'm just just prepare yourself.
Oh, I
So
know. Oh, I
I'm
already
gonna
know.
shoot through these. So it's so they said frequent testing that actually has the opposite effect. When you frequently test kids, it has a negative, effect as opposed to a positive one, which is true. You burning people out, bro. Um,
Facts.
less parental involvement.
Facts.
There's fewer extracurricular activities.
Facts.
Fewer curriculum. You know that one. Bigger classes. I had said that already. Bigger classes. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
less access to resources. That one I dug deep on that
Big
one.
facts.
I dug deep and boy, that took me down a rabbit hole. I'm gonna get into that. Um, but the resources we don't have, the oh my goodness, um, little effort or attention to early childhood development. It's almost none. You're at daycare. I don't care what no one says. You're at daycare. Um, increased hostile. It's an increase of hostile behaviors as far as like bullying or hate speech. And
Facts.
this is like now. We're talking about like now tense type of like not past tense. Teacher shortage, which we've mentioned a
Big
few
facts.
times, and declining test scores. So yeah, those cons, that last list I just read off to y'all, those are actually like previous things, but not just things that have been teeter tottering for years now. But those are actually what's currently like the problems that they're dealing with. And as you can see, that was a lot. That's a lot of problems that they're not trying
Yeah,
to
keep
solve.
in mind these are the same problems that we've been having for the longest time.
They don't care. They're getting their results. See what I'm saying? That's the
Yeah.
thing. They're getting the results that they want. That's it. Like,
Yeah.
how much do I need to give you for you to run my floor? Like, that's how they look at it. Like, you don't need but so much. I gave you more than enough. you know?
Exactly.
And it's like to be honest, a lot of the school stuff ties into work stuff. Cause it's like,
And it very well does.
well, cause while your kid is at school, you're at work. Don't have to deal with that. Because if your kid wasn't at school, you have trouble with work, wouldn't you? So it keeps the flow going for them. It keeps this flow going. It really just feels like people are on a conveyor belt and they just get spat out and they just work their way down the line. And like, bro, I wish I knew how to draw. So I wish I could like animate, so I can make an animation of how I would depict the school system, because it would be
Oh,
like
if
a
I could
factory.
animate this episode, oh, buddy.
Because it's training you. What school does is it trains you to work. You already getting practice. You got one lunch break. you
Exactly.
you take those
Oh, I'm
class.
so
You be in
happy you brought this
classes
up
for eight
because
hours. Like,
this is something
bro.
that it's been brought up in models, it's been brought up in videos, everything. You get one lunch break that lasts roughly about 30 minutes to an hour.
Like work.
Exactly, just like work. You get your smaller breaks, which is, in grade school, is more so just your transition from one class to another. But
Mm-hmm.
as you get older, it turns into your 15-minute break.
Yeah. Recess.
Yeah,
Recess.
they
Like
start you
your
from elementary school. Recess is your
yeah.
break.
Recess is only so it's because you're too young for them to even try to even pull that on you. Like you need nap time. Like I need nap time more now than ever though. Like
No,
back then you
recess
didn't
recess is your lunch break.
like yeah. This is pretty much like your teachers are
That's real
getting
talk.
you prepared to follow directions from your supervisors. That's all the
Yeah,
teachers are supervisors. Like it's mini work camp. It's work camp.
it literally is.
It's 9 to 5 camp. You there for 8 hours, 9 to 5 type. Y'all know what I'm talking about. So yeah, cause you got to be this little. Well, okay, so you start off at elementary school. You got to be at school what like 7:30. You don't get home to
Hmm.
about 2:15, 2:30 is when y'all get out of school. So yeah, so you getting ready. You getting ready.
They train you from the
They
time that you're in
training you.
elementary school to
They
be
training you.
a worker for them.
Cause you can go to school. You can go to school. Go to school. Go to school. And then you're doing this for how long, bro? Your whole
You're doing
adolescence,
this
your
for
whole childhood.
your whole childhood life.
Like they're
Up
training
until,
you.
and by the time you get out of high school,
You're
you get
ready.
that diploma in hand.
You're set.
In their eyes, them passing you that high school diploma is them saying you're ready to serve me.
That's it.
And that's the
Welcome.
God honest truth. That's coming from a
Welcome
former
to the
teacher
Hunger
himself.
Games. Welcome to the damn Hunger Games.
You
You,
are now ready to serve me.
that's it. That's it. And then this is the thing though. They let you think that you have a choice. And so it's like someone, let's say, and I'm making a very drastic example probably. But okay, no, I keep it kind of simple. Okay. So say for example, uh I keep you in my house, locked in
Hmm.
my house. You can't get out. Because I'm not gonna use certain trigger words. You can't get out of my house. Right?
Right.
You're let's say for example you're chained up. But you can roam
Hmm.
free. You can roam free as far as the house goes. You just can't make it nowhere outside. Okay?
I can go all through the house, but I
You
can't
go all
go
through the
outside
house,
the front door.
but you can't go outside, right?
Hmm.
And I only gonna cook a certain variety of things the whole time I have you. So you get to choose the activity. You can do whatever you want at the house, right? You still gonna serve me though, because that's why I got
Yeah.
you here. So you're gonna serve me. So that's that. Like that's there's no discussing that. You that's why you're here. You're not going nowhere. I'm not letting you go, right?
Yeah.
But I let you decide what activities you want to do in your little leisure time when you're not serving me, or what you want to eat that I provide you in that house. You can have whatever you want, whatever I have in there. I don't care if you eat everything one day. I go back to the store and get it, but you just can't leave though.
And
Do you
all
get
I'm
what I'm
gonna give
saying?
you is all I'm gonna give you is pizza, chicken
L-
patties.
Listen, but to you, but to you, at least, because you know people who have it worse, right?
Yeah.
Let's say it's a whole neighborhood of us that do this, but no one knows but us, and we created this neighborhood because we just some foul people.
Yeah.
You know from when they bring their servers over, when we have little get-togethers, whatever, that they're dealing with way worse. Like they're not as nice as me. Like the other owners are not as nice as me. So to you, you feel that you have choice, right? You feel you
Right.
have it a little bit better than everybody else. So what are you going to do? You're going to conform eventually. And you're going to
Exactly.
adhere to everything I say because I'm going to threaten you with it could be worse. I can threaten you with possibly death. I can threaten you with all these other little things. But once you get used to that, and mind you, say I've had you from a young age, you get used to that. You don't know nothing
Hmm.
else. I can unchain you in your 20s. You're not going nowhere.
You're not going nowhere.
You're gonna be scared of the neighbors because you're like, what if they see me? What if I'm abusive too on top of that? Or what if people are worse outside of those doors? Or I convince you that the world is worse because I control what you watch on TV. You don't know that. I have, passcode. I have certain stuff locked. So you're so used to just looking at things that aren't locked, right?
Right.
Eventually, like people think, like I'm only giving you an example within that one neighborhood, that one house. But what if that's that state? What if that's the whole United States? Like, what if that's the whole country? Like, you really, you really think you have a choice, but you really don't have much choice. Like,
You really
I'm
don't.
only giving you those options. Those are options I'm giving you. You're choosing from the situation that I'm giving you. Like, you're playing the cards that are dealt to you. And that's kind of sort of how they play it back on us. And they make us
Hmm.
control each other because you have someone that you know, someone who knows you, a good person that you're not making excuses. But that person will still turn into that Agent Smith on you and be
Yeah.
like, well, you decided not to do this or you chose that field. No, these were the options that were given to me.
These were the
Don't
options that
give
were
me
given
that.
to me.
Don't
I've been
give me
told from
that.
birth that if
You had a
I
choice.
if I voice my opinion or if I start to show out because I don't agree with authority, that I'm going to be punished for it.
Right. Period. Point blank, period.
And
Like,
and I was taught this because when I get out here and you actually do let me out the front door, you got people out there that are waiting, that are just waiting for me to act out or show out or
right,
voice my opinion that are going to say, you're wrong, and now you're going to jail.
right. Or that I think you're wrong. You might not even be wrong. I think you're wrong. Like, it's
And this is why people say that, like certain public schools and stuff like that, like they're not made for us, they're made against us because not everybody's the same way. Not everybody thinks the same way, not everybody talks the same way. None of this.
And the
But
thing is,
yet and still, we're bred to conform to this way of thinking to where if we're ever to express who we really are or what we really are, it could be deemed as wrong. It could be deemed as bad. It could be deemed as negative, and we could get locked up, thrown away into a loony house, thrown away into jail or wherever else
but it's like
because we did not
I don't
conform.
know how like to convince people to just stop and reflect for a second. Let's just work together. Like let's just do the best we can. And I think it gets to a point though where you have the people that don't know how, therefore they won't. You know what I mean? Because it's like
Because we're always in different houses.
because it's like we're just so used to this. Like honestly, when you do go to other places, it makes me wonder because I'm like, why is it that this particular thing is legal here but not there? You know what I mean? Like it makes me just feel like people make things up as they go. And it really like of course there's the normal things that we know we're not supposed to do, right? I think those are the only laws though. The ones that we have naturally. You know what I mean?
Right,
The
right.
cheat, steal, kill, you know, the natural things. I'm like all this other stuff that they just make up, man, because they make it up as they go along. Because after a while, it's like freedom of speech is kind of getting less and less more. Well, yeah, it's getting less and less free. Like you
Freedom
still
of
find
speech is a
ways.
joke.
You pretty much still finding ways to either block people or I'm gonna go right back to my one of my YouTube channels. It's like you mess with my views all of a sudden. You make it like I've had people who would message me but like I really can't like I can't find your stuff or I can't find this or I tried looking that up or if it's like a first timer I couldn't find it like how I can find it on my end. Like I don't understand what you might be looking for. It's like after so many people, it's like I think they just make it harder for you to find me. It may not be the first thing to come up. You may have to go to page 7 because they put it there. Like after like because I noticed when I first started the channel, it was just regular smuggler stuff. Like you know what I mean? Like it was
Hmm.
not too controversial. But once I started really getting into deep stuff and people started latching on and commenting, and when it started really going up, is and once they noticed, it's like all of a sudden they started messing with my stuff. Like you seen it, you look. I was like, there's no way that all of these videos got the same amount of views.
Right.
Down to the T, all of them got the same exact thing. I was like, it's not adding up,
Yeah,
bro.
you showed me that, and I was like, yo, you gotta be kidding me.
Like, bro, there's no way. It's just I'm like, unless you pressing the button. Unless you pressing the button. So I'm like, they control things to work for how they want it to work. And it's just weird. And I was like, people don't pay enough attention at the beginning. You know what I mean? Like a lot of children start off great. Like no child is born bad. Like certain things just happen, bro. And I'm like,
Right.
school, the whole bullying thing. I've never heard of so many like shootings and bullying and children, unaliving themselves. I, this is the most I
We
like
are at
because
an
they
all-time
stressed,
high for
bro.
this.
Everybody's stressed. The teachers are leaving. They stressed, like, bro, because you only have each other, right? And so when you're dealing with things, it's gonna come out one way or the other. So that's either towards yourself or to others. And when you got a clusterfuck of people together
Hmm.
in these buildings, in these places, or whatever the case may be, and you're shoving stuff down their throat, you want them to regurgitate that's not important, and they dealing with life on top of that, and they got a school life. It's like you living two different lives, and if both of them suck, that would create a dangerous person. That would create a dangerous person or a
Yeah.
mentally ill person. And I'm like, people don't think it's that important, or they think that it's. Listen, I know for a fact, like my grades were affected by my environment. Cause I'm very intelligent. I'm a smart. I was always a smart kid too. Like my work wasn't the issue. Like I used to have teachers mad at me because they knew I knew the answer and I wouldn't raise my hand. I was like because I have anxiety, and
I've
this
been
is
there before.
ridiculous. This is ridiculous. I don't want to be here. Like I'm anxious. I don't like it here. Like I just did. The school
I
just
have
wasn't for
been there
me.
before.
Yeah, and it's like like I'm failing, and the teacher's trying to figure out. Like they have a little side if they care enough. They have a little sidebar like what's going on. It don't matter if I told you. So like why would I tell you? You know what I'm saying? Or
Right.
children tend to think that that person could make it worse, so they don't tell you. So I'm just saying like it's a lot of kids. Well, it's a lot of adults, a lot of salty adults right now. It's a lot of adults like that have a lot of trauma from school, and
Yeah.
it's built that way. It's no there's no healing taking place. There's nothing like bro, and it's like you got a small window to learn things. Everybody doesn't learn the same way, but you got this one person, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I was led to believe that it's only but so much that y'all can do as far as the way you teach or how you teach or the pace that you can teach at.
It is. You're exactly right. There's like, because we have to go by certain criteria. We have to go by, and when it comes down to these different criteria, they go based upon district, state, and regional. Well, actually four: district, state, regional, and national. So
Oh,
yeah. So we look at the national first, like, and from everywhere, and then okay. So once we figure that out, what's gonna get us banned in our region? Don't
mm,
do that. What's gonna get us banned in our state? Don't do that. What's gonna get us banned in our school? Don't do that. And what it trickles down to is we can't teach.
right. And another thing to add, like what was weird to me, I don't know if anyone's noticed. Um, but you ever had like you talk to someone or just even if whether you have children or not, but if you talk to your children or just younger adults and they going to let's say the same school as you, even if they didn't go to the same school as you, it's like not much changes. Like the world is constantly changing. Why is the school still the same? Like why are they still you know what I mean? Like don't get me wrong. I know there's certain things that you need. Like, you learn the language. You learn to read it,
Mm,
you learn to write it. Okay, that makes sense. Cool, whatever. That's the particular language that you da da da. You do know first of all, other countries learn two and three languages, by the way.
off
They
rip,
learn
like
to off
from
off
elementary
rip.
school, they learn
Like
two or three languages.
they know their language, they know your language, and they know their language. They know two or three languages while we still just on they ain't even cursive was a waste of time. They end up taking that out. But the thing was
They
like
tough cursive. Oh
it
my god.
and we're gonna actually do a second one on language in general and spelling and well, yeah, we're gonna get into that. But my thing is you can talk to someone who's a generation or two, right? Difference between you and that person.
Right.
And they could even have that same teacher that you had. And they're like, oh,
Yeah.
Miss Such and Such still teach that. And they still know, like, y'all can still have the same conversations as far as how class went or how it goes. Because it's still the same curriculum. I'm like, how is that possible? Why? If we're still like we should have been learning about computers once computers really got popular. Like I remember when laptops, I didn't even know what a laptop was until the teacher wheeled in the little thing and it was like I'll never forget, bro. They were forest green, right? They was forest
Hmm.
green. These thick these thick ass laptops, and I was amazed. And it's like no one had that in their home. Like we still was on. If you were lucky enough to have a computer, period. Like
Right.
I still had the bubble back, but I was like, what? I'm like, they make them like this. I like, do it still do the same thing? Like, how does it? Like, bro, we didn't know anything. I'm like, why wasn't we learning about those particular types of things then? You know what I'm saying? Like, why aren't we keeping up with the times as far as school goes? Like, the curricula should be changing
The
every so
curriculum
often.
should change, but at the same time, like from a teacher's perspective, is if this curriculum worked this year and I didn't get fired, then I'm
Like,
gonna use that same one next year
it puts you in that
because I
boat.
won't get fired.
That's the hand that's dealt to you. You got to play the hand that's
Cause
dealt to you.
yeah, cause as much as I want these kids to learn as much as they can, and as much as I want to evolve with these evolving
You
kids, I
you got
still
stuff at
have a
stake.
job. Yeah, I got a job to do. And as much as like, keep in mind, because as we always say, we're not doing it for the money, because it ain't, huh.
It's barely that. It's
Yeah,
barely
it's
that.
barely that.
It's
So we're
crazy.
not
It's
doing it for the money. We're
That's
doing
crazy
it for the kids themselves. But
because
at the same time, we still got bills to pay, just like everybody else got bills to pay.
it forces everyone into a corner eventually. To be honest, it's like it really tests your heart because it's like you can't I'm sorry, the way they got certain things set up in the world, bro. It's almost impossible to always do the right thing. It's damn near almost impossible
Teachers
because you really
become teachers because they love kids.
right,
Teachers become teachers because they want to see the world become a better place.
right.
Teachers become teachers because of love in general.
Like
And
that's
you kill
crazy, bro.
that, you completely kill that when you give them nothing to live off of. When you tell them that the little bit of money that they're going to get from doing their job is barely going to be enough to sustain their everyday lives.
Not to mention that you got to buy stuff for your kids in your class. Mind you, you got multiple classes.
I gotta worry about the food that's in my kid's mouth on
Right.
top of the
On
food that's
top
in
of them,
on top of the food that's in these kids' mouths that's in the schools. Because some of these kids' parents can't afford for
true.
the regular, once upon a time, it was a 50-cent meal per day. Some of these some of these parents kids some of these kids' parents cannot afford the 50 cents per day it costs for these kids to eat in public school.
That's why I loved free lunch. Lifesaver. Like, don't get me wrong, we had food at home, but bro, like I couldn't fathom trying to pay for lunch every day at school.
I rem- I
That's just like your lunch
remember
break. This is
I
like your lunch
remember
break.
when it was 50 cents per day. My mom had to pay 50 cents per day to make sure that my lunch bill was paid so that I could eat lunch at school. I remember those days. And I remember
Man,
days where my mom couldn't afford that 50 cents
right.
to pay to the school for me to eat
Because
lunch that day. So she packed me a lunch from home to take to school because she knew that she didn't have that 50 cents to pay to the school for me to have lunch that day.
I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you brought that up because it keeps circling. Bro. It's just never ending. Just keeps going round and round because it's like you're trying. You know what I'm saying? Like as a parent, you're trying, right? And your child's trying to make the best out of their little life too, right?
Hmm.
And it was nothing worse though when your parent was either probably too busy to come to like if you had an extracurricular activity or you probably can't join an extracurricular activity because your parent just don't have the time or the means or the resources. Um
Yeah.
and it just keeps creating stuff. It's like you trying to balance. It's like everybody just trying to find a nice medium. You know
A
what I'm
nice
saying?
little medium.
It's like, but the kid is also struggling. They watching you struggle, so, and it's creating things because it's like that's the most like, bro, that's the most important stage in a child's life. It's like between them being born and probably 5 or 6 years old, and they're absorbing everything. And it's like, how much can you do if your child is away from you and you're away from your child for 8, 10,
And,
some parents 12, 13, 14 hours a day?
and while these kids are absorbing everything and seeing everything that's going on around them and witnessing their parents struggle just to keep a roof over their heads and stuff like that, and coming to school and witnessing their teachers not able to keep pencils or pens or loose leaf paper in the school for them to take tests on and stuff, while they're witnessing all that, the government does nothing.
Nothing.
The government looks at the teacher and says, "What are you doing wrong?"
Man, y'all,
And with
listen.
that being said, I've had my rant. I
Right?
can don't get wrong. Don't get wrong. I can keep going on.
I
I
know,
can
bro.
keep
I
going
know.
on.
I
But
know
I've
you,
had
but
my
we
rant.
coming. Yeah, we coming to a close, y'all. Listen, listen. I'm glad you could get that off your chest.
Oh yeah. Oh, whew,
'Cause I know
brother.
you. Ooh, I ain't gonna lie. Cause when you brought it up for us to do this episode, like I got super excited. Cause I don't know why it didn't dawn on me to do this sooner. But y'all gonna hear
Me
more of
either,
this.
honestly.
Y'all gonna hear more of this though, because it's just the tip of the iceberg. Like we got to do something. So I don't know. I'm gonna try some things. I'm gonna try some things, and
And
then
and
we'll
while
see.
we're on here, I do want to. I want to apologize to you if it feels as though I took over this conversation. I don't want to feel like, I don't want any of the viewers to be like, "Oh man, Mr. Curry just went ham on that one." Like,
Bro,
I,
no, you are the co-host, bro. It's nice to just sit back and listen too. Like, but I'm like, cause I'm always just, I love other people's perspectives, and what better perspective than to educate himself? Like you were there on both ends. You know what I'm saying? You were being
right.
taught, and then everybody can't teach. You feel me?
That is true.
Everybody can't teach. So it's nice to know that we're not crazy. Even on the other end of the spectrum, there's still those same. You see them same issues, if not more. So
Right.
by all means, bro, when you want to take over, fam. Cause it's nice to just chill, bro. It's nice to just chill and just add my little stuff in every now and then. Cause I'm not I'm also here to learn. You know what I mean? Cause you didn't tell me
right.
that. Y'all, he didn't tell me that. He didn't tell me he used to be a teacher, bro. So
I
that's
honestly
why.
didn't.
And I like when it goes that way though. You know, I like when it goes that way. I like when it just flows naturally. So that was pretty dope. Like, cause you said a lot of things that I didn't know. I be learning. So yeah, for sure, for sure, for sure. Like I do want to say this though. I do want to say that it will get better because there's no choice. There's no choice. Like we create our reality. Therefore, I'm going to. That means I'm technically creating a better reality, right?
Right.
So it's going to happen. And maybe this is just the beginning right here. You never know. You know what I mean? Maybe this podcast does. Maybe this episode does. Like you just never know. Maybe someone who knows someone listens to this and it sparks something in someone. You just never know. It could be years from now. You just never know. I just know that
Right.
it doesn't matter when it happens. I just know that it will happen for sure. Because
Yeah,
it's
I
the
believe it
time is
too.
running out, bro. Because we ain't doing this no more, bro. It's time for us to take stuff back. Like we really do, and it's not. I think people think it'd be either too much work or be hard or it's impossible, and it's none of those things. And I need
It's
everybody
none of
to get outside of that state of mind and just start. It starts as easy as a conversation. Start having these conversations more. Like we were rallied together, and look, I'm not even getting. Never mind.
this.
Cause bro, they'll protest and get together, bro. And I'm not talking about anything that's probably currently going on right now in the world because I don't have a clue if they are protesting right now. So don't think that I don't first of all, I don't throw, shade or subliminals. If that's the case, I'll say it. Um,
right.
just in general, we will get together and protest stupid shit. Like a lot of good stuff, but a lot of stupid stuff. But not just that, it's just that we don't really do much. Like we really let a lot happen. We have so much control. We have so much say, and it's just about time that we stop that. It's about
I'm
time
with
we
you
get
there.
together and we stop that. It's time for us to work together. Like I don't care who you are, cause baby, I've been outside the U.S. Let me tell you, it's possible because I've lived in it. Like it's so possible, baby. Like do not let them fool you. When I tell you that being here before I started traveling it automatically creates a bubble whether you think so or not. It creates a bubble. And until you pop that bubble, until you go outside of that frame, bro, Like you'll be amazed. You start questioning where you're from. Like real talk. Like you'll start questioning the US. If especially if you're from the US, you will start once you go outside of here, bro, you start questioning. Now don't get me wrong, you have some places where they tell you like, "Ooh, ain't no place like home." But that don't mean just because there's other places that could be worse. Like I said with my example, with having you locked up in the house, just because it could be worse somewhere else doesn't mean that you should settle for less where you are.
Right.
Period. 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 Like I think it's time we break up with this this old dynamic we got, and we start seeing other people. Like this ain't working. This is an abusive relationship we got. What I cut you, bro. It's time for us to get out. But yeah, y'all. But yeah, but that was it for education for today, y'all. And thank you to the educated, the phenomenal Mr. Curry. I give it up for Mr. Curry.
Dun,
So
dun,
yeah.
dun,
So yeah, like we appreciate you guys. Don't forget to follow us on TikTok if you haven't already at podcast underscore is pudding's tea. Uh we're gonna provide updates there. So every time that an episode is posted, as soon as it's posted, we go there and we let you guys know on TikTok. And we will
oh
also
yeah.
be providing you guys with other little stuff there, little treats. Well, you know, whatever comes to mind or whatever we feel like sharing with you guys or think it's important or whatever the case may be. It's all love though. Mr. Curry, you got anything? Am I forgetting anything?
My parting words: find a teacher, hug a teacher, tell them that you're thankful.
Word, word. Cause I think that we don't do that enough. Unless it's like your favorite teacher, I think you should just do it with all your teachers, not just your favorite one.
With all your teachers, any teacher that you can find,
Any
just
teacher.
find a teacher, hug a teacher, tell them that you're thankful.
It'll change. I think it changes things too. It
It
changes
does.
things. It really does. But thank you. Appreciate that. That was beautiful. That was beautiful, Mr. Gray. That was beautiful. But yeah, we'll see you guys on this one. Y'all make sure y'all tune in now every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday.
All right. Love y'all.